every game you go into it, try and just highlight guys. Miles got a game ball. I thought it was probably pretty worthy. But you're just constantly trying to recognize your guys. We spent time this morning as well pointing out all of our guys and the jobs they did out, point out Gage having a big punt return, which was huge for our team.
Holiday preparation, man. This is the pre-Thanksgiving kickoff, and I'm here to tell you, Kevin Stefanski is in some hot water yet again. Now, we all seen what was displayed over the weekend when Shedeur Sanders went up to Las Vegas, got out of that city with the dub. At the conclusion of the game, we seen Kevin Stefanski hold the game ball in the air, and he pretty much said, well, you know what, Myles Garrett, this is for you.
Kevin Stefanski just tried to defend himself, and it totally blew up in his face. After refusing to hand Shedeur Sanders the game ball following his first ever NFL win, a debut that snapped a brutal 17-game losing streak for first-time Browns starters, the backlash came crashing down instantly. Shannon Sharpe went in on him, the media erupted, and the entire NFL world couldn't stop talking. And here's where it got real messy. Stefanski couldn't even say Shedeur's name right. While he stood at that podium, dodging questions and mumbling about team effort, Browns GM Andrew Berry was in the locker room hugging Shedeur like he just brought home a championship. That hug told the whole story. According to Stephen A. Smith and multiple insiders, there's a serious rift forming in Cleveland. Word is Stefanski and his offensive coordinator don't believe in Shedeur, but Berry, he's all in. And now Berry's making that loyalty loud and clear. Meanwhile, Stefanski's out here looking like he's coaching against his own quarterback. Now picture this, because it's way deeper than just a missing game ball. Shedeur Sanders walked into Las Vegas for his first NFL start on the road and made straight-up history. The Browns hadn't seen a rookie quarterback pull that off in almost 2 decades. He didn't just win, he dominated. Only 1 sack all game, just 3 yards lost in a matchup where analysts said he'd get destroyed. But Shedeur kept his composure, showed sharp pocket control, and led like a seasoned pro with ice in his veins. He didn't just grab a win, he broke a curse that's haunted Cleveland since 2007. And you'd think his coach would be thrilled, right? But instead, Stefanski looked like someone who just realized the spotlight wasn't his anymore. Right? Wrong. Kevin Stefanski marched into that locker room after the game, grabbed the game ball, held it high, and dropped 5 words that lit the internet on fire. Myles Garrett, this is for you. Now look, no one's denying that Myles Garrett earned his flowers. The man had 5 sacks. 5! That's a monster performance, and he definitely deserved props for it. But here's where everything went sideways. This was Shedeur's moment. His first NFL win, his big debut, the game that finally ended nearly 20 years of heartbreak for rookie Browns quarterbacks. And his head coach couldn't even spare a single game ball for him. Fans were stunned, the media was outraged, and Shannon Sharpe, he torched Stefanski on air. What we all witnessed wasn't just about a ball, it was about respect. It was about acknowledgement, about a coach showing his young quarterback, I believe in you. And Stefanski, he failed that test badly. The whole league saw it. The energy in that locker room said it all. The vibe went from celebration to confusion in seconds. But here's where things get even more revealing. While that awkward moment was blowing up online, Andrew Berry, the man who drafted Shedeur, the guy who built this roster and is shaping the Browns' future, was right there in that same locker room doing the complete opposite. Berry walked straight up to Shedeur and gave him a hug that spoke louder than any speech ever could. Not some weak handshake, not a quick pat on the back. A real hug, the kind that says, I've got your back no matter what. That embrace said everything Stefanski's words didn't. Fast forward to the press conference, you could see it all over Stefanski's face. The man knew he messed up, and there was no walking it back. The reporters could smell blood in the water. They weren't backing off, and Kevin Stefanski knew it. One reporter finally asked the question everyone was waiting for. Why didn't you give Shedeur a game ball after the win? That's when Stefanski's response made things way worse. He started rambling about highlighting guys and how they always try to recognize players. He mentioned that Myles Garrett's performance was probably pretty worthy of the game ball. No one argued that. Then he brought up Gage's big punt return and the defensive line's 10 sacks, saying the coverage helped make it happen. He even slipped in that having a rookie win his first start on the road was huge. But guess what he didn't do? He never once said Shedeur's name. Not once. Let that sink in. This reporter specifically asked about Shedeur Sanders, and Stefanski danced around the question like he was avoiding a spotlight. He just called him the rookie, tossing out vague coach talk with zero emotion, zero connection, and absolutely no personal acknowledgement. it came off colder than a Cleveland winter night. And oh, people noticed. Watch that press conference and you'll see it. Stefanski looked shook. He was fidgeting, dodging eye contact, and trying to steer the conversation anywhere but towards Shedeur. His answers felt rehearsed, distant, like he was reading from a PR script instead of talking about the quarterback who just made franchise history. That body language said it all. The tight shoulders, the forced half smile, the uneasy tone. It screamed that there's something deeper going on here. You could almost feel the tension through the screen, like he was holding back what he really wanted to say. And that silence, it said more than any statement ever could. Now we've got to talk about what's really going down in Cleveland, because this whole game ball drama, it's just the tip of the iceberg. According to multiple insiders, including Stephen A. Smith, there's a serious divide inside the Browns organization right now. And it's not just about play calling or football philosophy, it's about Shedeur Sanders himself. Word around the league is that Kevin Stefanski and his offensive coordinator don't truly believe in him. They supposedly see Shedeur as some kind of long-term project, maybe even a burden they were forced to take on. That's wild, especially when you think about what this kid just pulled off in his debut. Meanwhile, GM Andrew Berry, the man who actually made the call to draft him, is all in. Berry believes Shedeur is the future of the franchise. He sees the talent, the confidence, and the leadership that made Shedeur one of the most hyped quarterback prospects in years. And that locker room hug, that wasn't just some good game moment. Oh no, that was Andrew Berry sending a message. He was saying loud and clear, this is my guy. I don't care what the coaching staff thinks. I drafted him, I believe in him, and I'm standing with him. That hug hit deeper than anyone expected. It was loyalty on full display. And let's be real, it's got a sting. You could feel that awkward energy between Berry and Stefanski without a single word being said. And you know what? I bet Shedeur felt it too. But here's the part that earns respect. He didn't let it show. He kept his composure like a pro, letting his performance speak louder than any sideline tension ever could. But this story doesn't stop there, because now Cleveland's locker room is buzzing with whispers about who's really running the show. Players are starting to notice the tension between Stefanski and Berry, and it's creating an uncomfortable vibe that no one can ignore. You've got half the team rallying behind Shedeur Sanders, calling him the spark this franchise has been missing, while others are staying quiet, trying not to pick sides, but everyone feels the divide. Insiders are saying that Berry's loyalty to Shedeur has made Stefanski look shaky in the eyes of ownership. Think about it. How can you coach a team when your GM is making it clear he doesn't trust your judgment? The front office believes Shedeur is the future and they want to build around him, but Stefanski, he's coaching like he's trying to prove the rookie wrong instead of setting him up to succeed. And fans see it too. Social media has been blowing up with clips, memes, and reactions from the press conference, with people calling Stefanski cold, detached, and even jealous. That's the kind of attention no coach wants, especially in a city that's been desperate for a quarterback savior for decades. The buzz isn't just online anymore. It's inside the building, in the locker room, in practice, everywhere. People close to the team are saying the relationship between coach and quarterback might already be fractured beyond repair. Imagine being a rookie, trying to prove yourself in the NFL while your head coach looks like he doesn't even believe in you. That's heavy pressure. But so far, Shedeur has handled it like a veteran, calm, focused, and locked in. Now the question everyone's asking is simple but explosive. Can Cleveland survive this storm, or are we watching a quiet power shift where the GM's faith in Shedeur Sanders ends up being the move that changes everything for the Browns? And here's where things start heating up even more, because this drama isn't just staying behind closed doors anymore. Sources say some players are starting to speak out privately, hinting that the locker room energy feels off. One veteran reportedly told a local reporter that it's like walking on eggshells around Stefanski right now. That's how tense things have gotten. Behind the scenes, a few assistant coaches have even been whispering that Shedeur Sanders has already earned the respect of the locker room, something Stefanski doesn't seem ready to accept. Players see how Shedeur carries himself, how he communicates, how he keeps everyone calm under pressure. He's acting like a leader, but his own head coach won't even say his name publicly. That contradiction is starting to bother people, badly, and you can feel the media piling on. Every sports show is breaking down body language, tone, and subtle jabs from press conferences like it's a crime scene investigation. They're replaying Stefanski's comments frame by frame, pointing out every awkward pause, every time he dodges Shedeur's name.
The keys is his. I think he is the future quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, yesterday after the game, Kevin Stefanski didn't want to give Shedeur Sanders his praise. He tried to undermine a lot of things that Shedeur Sanders did offensively and gave all the credit to the center, the blocking schemes, and the lights out defense, and really didn't acknowledge the quarterback play of Shedeur being that first rookie on a historical performance to win in over 30-some years as a rookie starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns organization. Now, Kevin Stefanski just wrapped up his Zoom call for Monday, and they was asking him questions, and now he wants to come out to say that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback. I feel that Kevin Stefanski is feeling that pressure.
The narrative's growing fast. Stefanski's losing the room, and maybe even his control of this team. Meanwhile, Andrew Berry isn't backing down either. Insiders say he's quietly making moves behind the scenes, meeting with ownership, reinforcing his confidence in Shedeur, and pushing for the offense to be built around him. That's not just faith, that's strategy. And the wild part? Shedeur's not taking the bait. He's staying locked in, letting his play do all the talking. No tweets, no comments, just focus. That kind of discipline under all this chaos is rare for a rookie. The whole league's watching now, waiting to see if Cleveland can hold it together or if this power struggle is about to explode in front of everyone. Now the tension in Cleveland has hit a whole new level, and everyone's starting to wonder, how long can this go on before something breaks? The whispers are getting louder, and insiders are saying the front office might be forced to make a major decision sooner than anyone expected. Some people believe that if Stefanski doesn't get on board with Shedeur Sanders fast, his seat could get real hot, real soon. Ownership reportedly isn't thrilled with the optics of all this either. You've got a young quarterback bringing life back to the franchise, fans going crazy, and yet the head coach seems stuck in his pride. That's a dangerous look for any organization trying to build momentum. Executives have supposedly started asking questions. Who's really leading this team? Stefanski or Andrew Berry? Because right now, the lines of power in Cleveland are getting blurrier by the day. And the media, they're eating this up. Every sports show, every podcast, every headline is spinning the same question. Is Kevin Stefanski losing his locker room? It's everywhere. Even former players are chiming in, saying stuff like, you can't coach a guy you don't believe in. That's a brutal statement, but it's starting to sound true. Through it all, Shedeur is just keeping his head down, showing maturity way beyond his years. He's showing up early, working overtime, and proving week after week that he's not some project. He's the real deal. You can see the team starting to rally around him more with each game, almost like they've silently chosen their side. Now the Browns have a choice to make, either unite behind their new star or risk watching this quiet civil war tear the whole thing apart. The question isn't if something changes, it's when. He stayed calm, he stayed professional, he stayed locked in. Shedeur Sanders didn't throw shade, didn't fire back, he just let his game speak for him, because at the end of the day, that's all he can control. But don't get it twisted, this situation is far from over. You got a GM who's clearly riding for Shedeur, going head-to-head with a coaching staff that still seems hesitant to fully embrace him. That's a straight-up recipe for chaos in any NFL building. That's how locker rooms start leaking stories. That's how rumors about coaching changes start flooding social media. And honestly, if I'm Andrew Berry, I'm setting the tone right now. Shedeur Sanders is the future of this franchise. Either everyone's on board or they're out of the way. Because let's be real, GMs always have more job security than coaches, and Berry knows it. If this tension keeps building and Stefanski keeps acting like Shedeur is just another guy, then Berry's gonna have to make a choice. Does he stand by his quarterback or by a coach who refuses to evolve? Everyone in that building can see where the momentum's heading, and it's not in Stefanski's favor. Now, to be fair, Stefanski did say a few positive things during that press conference. He mentioned the quarterback room talks about pocket mechanics and movement. He even admitted that Shedeur's ability to make plays inside and outside the pocket is impressive. And yeah, he praised him for only taking 1 sack in his first start. That's a solid stat, but come on, all that praise felt hollow when he couldn't even say Shedeur's name when asked directly. It felt cold, distant, like he was checking boxes to avoid looking petty while his real feelings slipped through in the silence. That's the part that rubbed people the wrong way. When a coach talks about his star rookie like he's a nameless background player, it says everything without saying much at all. And then there's his excuse. Every game you go into it trying to highlight guys. Okay, fair. But really, in a game where your rookie quarterback just made franchise history, you couldn't find a way to highlight him personally, you made it all about the defense? That's weak, man, and everybody knows it. This isn't just about a game ball anymore. It's about trust, pride, and who's really leading this team from the inside out. That's got a sting. And you know what? Shedeur Sanders probably did feel it, but the man didn't flinch. He stayed cool, stayed locked in, and kept his focus sharp. He didn't clap back or let his emotions take over. He just let his play do the talking. Because when everything else is noise, performance never lies. Still, don't think for a second this story's cooling down. This whole situation is just heating up. Now you've got a GM who's clearly standing in Shedeur's corner going head-to-head with a coaching staff that seems scared to fully back their own rookie. That's not just awkward, that's a recipe for straight-up dysfunction inside the organization. That's how whispers turn into leaks, how small frustrations become full-blown media storms, and how coaching changes start creeping into headlines. And honestly, if I'm Andrew Berry, I'm setting it straight behind closed doors. Shedeur Sanders is the future of this franchise. Either everyone's with it or they're in the way. Because here's the cold truth. GMs have more staying power than coaches, and Berry knows he's holding the longer rope. If this rift keeps growing, if Stefanski keeps treating Shedeur like he's just another guy instead of the QB who broke a 2-decade curse, Berry might have to make the ultimate call: who's more valuable, the quarterback or the coach? Now, to be fair, Stefanski did try to sprinkle in some nice words about Shedeur during that press conference. He talked about their quarterback room discussions, mentioned working on pocket movement, and even pointed out that Shedeur only took 1 sack in his debut, a rare feat for any rookie. But even with those compliments, it all felt flat, like he was just saying the bare minimum to dodge criticism. And the biggest issue, he still couldn't bring himself to say Shedeur's name when asked directly, not once. That silence spoke volumes. It's like his pride wouldn't let him give credit where it's due. His body language, his tone, his words, it all screamed hesitation. Then came that tired excuse. Every game, you go in trying to highlight guys. Okay, fine. But come on, your rookie quarterback just made franchise history and you couldn't find 1 second to highlight him specifically? You chose to make it about everyone else instead? That's weak and everyone knows it. This isn't just about a missed game ball anymore. It's about a coach showing cracks in his leadership, a GM staking his claim, and a young quarterback proving he doesn't need anyone's approval to shine. You had to make it all about the defense? Come on, man, that's weak and everybody knows it. Fans saw right through that move and now the whole league's talking about it. The difference between how other coaches handle their young quarterbacks and what Kevin Stefanski is doing couldn't be more obvious. Look at how Kyle Shanahan talks about Brock Purdy. Look at how Sean McVay, yeah, not Vay, we're talking McVay, built up Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. And look at how Andy Reid developed Patrick Mahomes. These coaches don't just support their QBs, they celebrate them. They make sure the world knows that's my guy. They stand behind their players and fuel their confidence every chance they get. That's exactly what Shedeur Sanders needs right now. Not generic coach talk, not stiff press conference cliches about highlighting guys. He needs his head coach to stand at that podium, look straight at those cameras, and say something real. Shedeur Sanders was incredible today. He showed me everything I needed to see. I'm proud of him. He's our quarterback, and I believe in his future. Is that really so hard to say? Apparently for Kevin Stefanski, it is. But here's where I'm going to twist this a bit. Because while Stefanski absolutely dropped the ball here, no question, I think we've got to acknowledge the pressure this man's under. The Cleveland Browns have been chasing quarterback stability for what feels like forever. It's been decades of heartbreak, false hope, and failed experiments at the most important position in football. Stefanski knows that every move he makes with Shedeur is being watched by ownership, the media, and fans who are starving for a savior under center. One wrong call, one bad headline, and it all comes crashing down. So yeah, he messed up big time. But part of that mistake might come from fear, not hate. Still, fear or not, it doesn't excuse the lack of respect. And right now, that's the only thing people can see. The Cleveland Browns have gone through more quarterbacks than anyone can even count. It's like a never-ending carousel of maybe this is the guy's stories. Every time they draft one, the pressure is sky high, and the spotlight burns even hotter. And now Kevin Stefanski's job, it's literally tied to whether Shedeur Sanders becomes a success or not. Maybe, just maybe, his hesitation to publicly back Shedeur isn't pure disrespect. Maybe it's fear. Maybe he's scared of putting too much pressure on a rookie who's still getting his footing in the league. Maybe Stefanski thinks he's protecting Shedeur by spreading the credit around, keeping the attention off him, and highlighting the team instead. Maybe he's trying to avoid making the kid feel like he has to carry the whole franchise on his back from day one. But here's the thing, that's not how you build a franchise quarterback's confidence. That's not how you inspire your locker room or show unity within your organization. If you want a leader, you have to treat him like one. You have to show him and everyone watching that you believe in him completely. Because while Stefanski's out here playing it safe with his words, Andrew Berry is doing the total opposite. Berry's making it known that he's all in on Shedeur. He's backing him publicly, privately, and emotionally. And right now, in the battle for public perception, Berry's the one coming out on top. Let's be real, Shedeur Sanders is going to be just fine. He's got the skills, the pedigree, and the poise to handle all this noise. He's got a GM who believes in him unconditionally and a city that's starting to rally behind him. Most importantly, he's got the mental toughness to turn this whole controversy into motivation. This game ball drama, it's probably just more fuel for his fire. Don't be surprised if he uses it to prove Stefanski wrong and remind the league exactly why Barry was right to draft him in the first place. But the question hanging over Cleveland right now is simple. How long can this dysfunction keep going before something breaks? How long can the Browns afford to have their GM and head coach pulling in opposite directions over their franchise QB? Because history's clear. When there's a power struggle between the front office and the sideline, somebody always pays the price. And most of the time, it's the coach who ends up out the door. Now the clock is ticking in Cleveland and the tension feels heavier by the day. The headlines, the whispers, the sideline energy, it's all boiling into one massive question. Can this team survive with two leaders pulling in opposite directions? Because right now, it feels like Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski are playing tug of war with the future of Shedeur Sanders, and that never ends well. Inside the building, sources say meetings are starting to get tense. Coaches and front office members are quietly choosing sides, and some players are getting caught in the middle of it all. You've got one side saying, trust the system, while the other is saying, trust the kid. That kind of split can sink a locker room faster than any losing streak ever could. And the fans, oh, they see it all. Social media is lighting up every time Stefanski speaks, every time Barry shows support for Shedeur, every time someone posts a clip from practice. The fan base is divided, half saying Stefanski's lost the locker room, the other half defending him as a coach just trying to manage pressure. But no matter how you look at it, this story isn't dying down anytime soon. Here's what's wild though, Shedeur Sanders is somehow keeping it all together. He's showing maturity beyond his years, brushing off the noise, showing up early and grinding like a veteran. He's not just trying to prove he belongs, he's trying to lead. And the more chaos that surrounds him, the more focused he seems to get. You can tell this kid's built different. He's not folding under pressure, he's thriving in it. Meanwhile, insiders are saying Andrew Barry has already begun preparing for every scenario because he knows how this movie usually ends. If the Browns start slipping, the front office won't hesitate to pull the plug on the drama. And if it comes down to choosing between a coach who's hesitant and a quarterback who's showing promise, we all know which one stays. The real question now is, how long can Stefanski pretend everything's fine? Because the cameras don't lie and the players aren't blind. Everyone can feel the shift happening right under their feet. This isn't just a football story anymore, it's a power play, a loyalty test, and a battle for control of Cleveland's future. If things don't change soon, the Browns might have to make a move that shakes the entire league. And when that day comes, one thing's for sure, Shedeur Sanders will still be standing tall while everyone else scrambles to catch up. Kevin Stefanski better hope Shedeur Sanders keeps winning, because if this kid keeps balling out and Stefanski still treats him like he's just another guy, Andrew Barry might be forced to make the biggest call of his career. And let's be honest, something tells me he's already made up his mind. So here's what I want you to really think about. Is Kevin Stefanski sabotaging Shedeur Sanders by refusing to publicly support him? Or is this just a coach too scared to admit he misjudged his rookie? Is Andrew Barry gearing up to go head-to-head with his own coaching staff over his franchise quarterback? And the biggest question of all, is Shedeur about to use all this disrespect as fuel to become the superstar we already know he can be? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Are you Team Barry or Team Stefanski? Do you think Shedeur deserved that game ball, or was Stefanski right to hand it to the defense? And what should the Browns do if this tension keeps growing? Something's got to give, and when it does, it's going to shake up the whole league. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones, the people who see through the noise and want the truth. So don't just scroll by, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single update. Drop a comment, share this with your crew, and tell me what you think is really going on behind the scenes in Cleveland. Because trust me, this story, oh, it's far from over. See you on the next one.